Okay, for those of you who don't know, I actually made a similar video a while ago. However, the content of the video has undergone many changes since the information about the latest banner lineup for the next version of the special program was released. So, according to current information, there will be 4 new banners appearing in the upcoming 3.6. Those characters are Evernight, Herta, Danheng PT, and also Anaxa. As we know, these 4 characters have really great value and several team combinations that can be used by many players, including free-to-play players and even new players. So, without further ado, I'm Hoyostation and let's dive right into the video. Let's do this. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here is a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and honkaistarrail. Look no further than Lootbar. Lootbar is the most reliable top-up platform. It saves up to 23% for all orders compared with the official channel, and it provides an 80% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy pack for 30,000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have costed $50, totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in the less than 3 minutes. All recharges will be done through the official channel with miHoyo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. Okay, now we will start with Evernight first. As we know, Evernight is a character with an ice type and a remembrance path, whose memo sprite is named Eevee. The main uniqueness of Evernight is that she has the same scaling and mechanics as Castris, meaning her kit scales with maximum HP and also reduces HP on almost all of her kit. So she would be a perfect match if paired with Castris, as she can help recharge Castris' new build. Additionally, another interesting aspect of Evernight is that she possesses a skill called Day Gently Slips, which will increase the critical damage of her teammates' memo sprites by 24% of Evernight's critical damage. Of course, this effect will be very suitable for teams that rely on memo sprite as the main source of damage, including Castris, who uses Nether Wings as her primary damage source. The skill can also restore HP of her memo sprite without using skill point, guys, allowing her to be used continuously every single turn. Of course, with the high frequency of HP restoration, Castris' ultimate will quickly trigger, allowing Castris to fully utilize the effects of this skill. Not only does her provide buffs and help charge Castris' ultimate, but Evernight can also contribute a significant amount of damage thanks to her Memoria, which will be used to cast the enhanced Memo Sprite skill called Dream Dissolving SDO. The thing is, this skill deals damage based on the number of Memoria stacks Evernight possesses. The more Memoria used, the greater the damage dealt. Some examples of relatively easy ways to gain additional Memoria are from Castris' skill or the effect of Hyacinth's signature Lacone, which can consistently reduce the HP of all team members and immediately grant Evernight 4 Memoria. Oh yeah, Evernight also has a talent that can further increase the critical damage of team member Memo Sprites. If there's a 4 characters with the Remembrance path in the team, all Memo Sprites will receive an additional 50% critical damage. Interestingly, if we combine this with the effects of the skill before this trace, we can get a total over 100% critical damage for all Memo Sprites in the team, making a team consisting of Castris, Evernight, RMC, and Hyacinth even better. So, is Evernight worth getting in the upcoming version? Currently, I'm giving it a score of 7.5 out of 10. Personally, I think that although Evernight can deal damage to enemies as a sub-DPS, the main ability sought after by many players is because she acts as a support character within the Remembrance team. Additionally, the value of this character is predicted to increase thanks to rumors circulating that in version 3.7, Siren will be able to make Evernight usable as a strong main DPS for the upcoming meta, due to some of her kit. So, even though you don't or haven't yet obtained Castris, I still highly recommend taking this character because she will have similarities to Anaxa, who can be a DPS or sub-DPS role in the team. But there's something you need to keep in mind, guys. Although Evernight has tons of positive aspects I could discuss here, this character is currently considered a niche character, meaning she can only be used effectively for certain teams. This means that if you don't currently have support characters like 3B or Hyacinth, this character will be less effective for you. So I suggest choosing another character. Anyway, here's a brief discussion about her signature light cone, called to Evernight Stars. This light cone has effects that are very suitable for Evernights or can be used as an alternative to Castris if you don't have her signature light cone. This light cone will provide a very useful maximum HP boost for Evernight, and it also has an effect that can grant the user stacks called Noctis. This stack will cause all memo sprite attacks within the team to ignore 20% of the enemy's defense, in addition to increasing the damage dealt to the user, which can reach a total of 48%. In reality, this light cone is not essential to obtain, especially if you only want Evernight to be a sub DPS for Castris. However, if you intend to make her your main DPS in the future, you will need at least Castris' signature light cone or her signature light cone to deal maximum damage. Okay, next we will discuss the Herta, who is quite surprising with her third appearance in this game. Well, I'm not surprised because she really has a kit that powerful, guys. Herta has a pretty interesting ultimate, where when she activates it, she deals massive damage to all enemies. And not only that, she gets an extra turn and can then activate her main ability, which is an enhanced skill called Hear Me Out. This enhanced skill can deal very massive damage, guys. Although the percentage is not that big, the damage mechanism of this attack is quite different, similar to water ripples that cause damage around them. Not only does she have active abilities, but she also possesses some pretty cool and essential passive abilities that we should know about. For example, in the tree section named Message from Beyond the Veil, when there are two characters with the erudition path on the team, it will increase the critical damage of all allies by 80%. Quite interesting, isn't it? So, is this character worth picking in the future? Honestly, even though this character was released at the beginning of version 3, she is still dominating the current meta as one of the most used characters in pure fiction mode. This character is a solid one with a kit that can deal significant damage while still providing buffs to team members. Although she has some weaknesses, for example, she needs to be paired with characters with other erudition paths, such as Jade, Argenti, or Anaxa, for her kit to work. Or other weaknesses, such as the fact that she must be paired with characters capable of attacking areas, like 3B and Hyacinth. This doesn't diminish the value of this character at all, guys. Oh yeah, she is also suitable for new players to use. For example, the combinations of the Herta and Herta, the combination of the Herta and Serval, and even the combination with Himeko, a character who has been in the permanent bearer since the game's release. So, considering these points, I give these characters an 8.5 out of 10. It's very worth it. You should even own it to easily complete endgame content, especially pure fiction. Then, what about her signature light cone? I also highly recommend getting her signature light cone, although you can still use some free-to-play light cones like the ones we can get through Herta's shop. The effects of this light cone are too good to miss. The additional critical rate effect, extra skill point gain, and increased damage to enemies are all very worthwhile benefits, especially if you're using a team combination that consumes a lot of skill points. Without this light cone, you will find it difficult to move freely, because you will have to consider your skill point usage after using Herta's ultimate so she can use her enhanced skill. Next, we will move on to Danheng, a character with a physical type and preservation path, who can provide shields and make one teammate a bondmate. The benefits of being a bondmate include gaining a summon called the Soul Dragon, which is advantageous for effects like Sunday's skill, which provides a 50% damage boost if the target partner has a summon or memo sprite. Another unique aspect of Danheng PT is that his summon, the Soul Dragon, will provide a shield every single turn, with a very fast speed of 165. In addition to providing a shield, if the Soul Dragon has a charge from the ultimate of Danheng PT, The Soul Dragon will launch a follow-up attack and deal damage according to the type of its bondmate. What's even more unique is that the damage dealt through this follow-up attack depends on the attack stat of the bondmate. So this damage will be even greater if that teammate has scaling for the attack stat and also has high attack. Oh yeah, since Danheng BT can now provide a shield through Soul Dragon, it makes Danheng BT a skill point generator for teammates who need a lot of skill points, such as Archer teams and DOT teams. So, is Danheng worth pulling in the upcoming version? Well, since Danheng will be given to all players for free in version 3.6, we don't really need to get it through Gacha anymore. However, if you still want to pull this character to upgrade his Idol 1, I'll give it a score of 7 out of 10. His Idol 1 effect, called Shed Scales of Volt, actually provides a very interesting effect. This Idol will grant an additional 1 skill point each time Danheng casts his ultimate, and will increase the all-type resistant penetration of allies with a bondmate by 18% for 3 turns. This effect will be great for boosting the damage of your DPS and providing skill points that will be very useful for teammates like Archer or even Finite, who really need a lot of skill points. While the effect of Idol 1 isn't particularly impactful on its own, it becomes very beneficial if you don't have other effects in your team that provide additional skill points, such as Sunday's signature Lightcon or Bronya with Idol 1. On the other hand, I highly recommend that you take his signature Lightcon, which is called The Worlds Apart. This Lightcon will provide an attack and shield boost to the user. Then it has a healing effect on all team members whenever the user casts their ultimate. The recovery provided depends on the user's attack, so this effect can only be utilized by Danheng PT alone, as he is the only preservation character who scales with attack. Additionally, this Lightcon will also grant redoubt to all team members, increasing their damage by 24%. And if the teammate has a summon, they will receive a total of 36% increased damage. It's truly massive, so I highly recommend taking this Lightcon. Besides other Lightcon effects, nothing else suits Danheng's kit. The Lightcon's effect can be useful for a wide variety of existing compositions. And lastly, the final character we will discuss is Anaxa. Anaxa himself has a wind type with an erudition path that has a unique feature. He can inflict implant weakness types on enemies, up to 7 different weakness types. Additionally, his skill can be triggered up to 2 times if the enemy has a debuff called Qualitative Disclosure, which activates if the enemy has at least 5 weakness types. Plus, Anaxa will deal 30% more damage to enemies with that debuff. Creating his damage output is not something to be underestimated. Despite being a capable DPS character, Anaxa has a very flexible role within the team. This can be achieved thanks to his traits called Imperative Hiatus. If used alongside other erudition in the team, Anaxa will provide a 50% damage increase buff to teammates. On the other hand, if Anaxa is used as a hyper carry without bringing any other erudition beside himself, he will increase his critical damage by 140%. Of course, with these traits, Anaxa becomes a very flexible and interesting character to use. According to data I gathered from Pratwendo.gg, Anaxa has a usage rate of 20.8% in MOC, 17.85% in Pure Fiction, and 23% in Apocalyptic Shadow. Although this number is not as high as Cast Race, it's important to know that upon its initial release, Anaxa was still considered a less interesting character due to his relatively low damage multiplier, whether for his skill or his ultimate, which resulted in him being used only as a sub DPS for the Herta. But as time went on, Anaxa himself became more commonly used as a hyper carry DPS because he has a free 140% critical damage increase, which makes his damage output even greater. Oh yeah, he also performs very well when used in Apocalyptic Shadow or MOC because he has a bounce type skill that will be very deadly when used against enemies numbering less than 3. So, is Anaxa worth pulling in the upcoming version? The answer is yes. He is really worth it, guys. And personally, I would give it a score of 8.5 out of 10. Why did I give this character such a high score? As I discussed earlier, Anaxa is a flexible character who deals deadly damage when used as a hyper carry. His main strength is his flexibility, which allows him to be used with any content and against any enemy weakness, making him a very suitable character for new players to complete various existing content. If you are new players, the team combinations you can use are quite diverse and relatively easy. You can use free-to-play characters like Bronya, Tingyun, or even Asta to support his kits. Anyway, for his signature icon, Life should be cast to flames. All of its effect will make Anaxa a very strong main DPS. This is especially true if you want to use Anaxa as a hyper carry DPS in your team. So, is this icon important? Actually, it depends on how this character is used. I highly recommend you get this icon if you plan to build this character as a hyper carry DPS, because this icon provides a massive energy boost, allowing Anaxa to trigger his ultimate every 2 turns, which means the qualitative disclosure effect from his talent will be frequently triggered. Overall, although I know Anaxa already has a 4-star Lightcon alternative called the Great Cosmic Enterprise, his signature Lightcon still offers significantly higher damage output. Okay guys, so that's probably all for this video. What do you think? Are you planning to get the characters in version 3.6? Please type in the comments down below and don't forget to check out my other videos because they are just as cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.